With OTAs kicking off tomorrow, the Pittsburgh Steelers still have some issues and still have some things that they need to tend to ahead of the 2024 season. Welcome back to Mike Drops Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers here on a Monday. Welcome back. What is going to be a big week here on the channel, so make sure you're tuned in. And tonight we'll be back with our live show at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you join us for Steel City Live. Let's dive into the Steelers news of the day. Let's talk a little bit about what this Pittsburgh Steelers team has to look forward to ahead of OTAs starting tomorrow. They still have holes on the roster that they may need to fill. That may be a necessity that they get something done before the start of the season. We have many fans still complaining about that schedule, which there's nothing that we can do about that. You see the Cam Hayward situation still coming down the pipe for the Pittsburgh Steelers with no end in sight there. But the Pittsburgh Steelers have to remember, with Cam, you can't be sentimental with him. You have to make sure that you are looking at what he can do for you in the future. And what the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do possibly at the wide receiver spot is going to play a big part of what they do with Cameron Hayward, in my opinion. I think what has to happen there in terms of money, in terms of contract, to bring in a guy to solidify that wide receiver room for Russell Wilson in 2024, to have some quality targets, I think that's going to play into this Cameron Hayward situation with his contract, because you're going to probably have to renegotiate what he has going on this year, $22.4 million. So you look at that and you say to yourself, where can we save some of that money by giving a bonus and an extension? But how long do you want to keep Cameron Hayward here for? Is he a guy that plays into your immediate future? Is he a guy that plays into the next year or two? That's the question you have to ask yourself for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You look at that and you say, hey, if we add that bonus here, we could free up another maybe $10 million, $7 million of such maybe, and add that to what the Pittsburgh Steelers already have. And I think that you could go out there and get a really viable, a really big-time target for Russell Wilson to throw the ball to, other than George Pickens and Roman Wilson. I think Roman Wilson will be incorporated. Yes, I think he will be a stud in his rookie season. I'm not saying he'll be an all-pro or, anything like that, but I think that he will be a major contributor in 2024, so the Steelers are going to want to make sure they're working him in under a couple veteran guys, and George Pickens is starting to fall into that veteran category right now, a guy that is looking to have a big year because he's going to be coming due some money here shortly. So you look at this Steelers wide receiver room and you say to yourself, how do they make this work? How do they find the money? And Cam Hayward is the answer to that right now. A guy that is aging, a guy that is 35 years old. They're looking right now at figuring out how to replace Cameron Hayward. Not as, he's figuring into our long-term future and 5 years down the road. That's not where we're at with Cam. And there are other contracts that they can free up some money in order to make things work, to get another target, maybe even add another corner, maybe add wide receiver and cornerback to this list. Maybe you go out there and you find somebody along the defensive front that you want to bring in if you can figure a way out from underneath Cam's contract. The possibilities are endless here. I mean, there are many possibilities for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you look at maybe what they do next year with a guy like Najee Harris. Maybe a franchise tag there. There's several situations at play here, and you look at OTAs that are starting tomorrow. That's when you really want to kick this team off and start building. But you're going to be missing one of your leaders in Cameron Hayward. And you're going to have one of your other leaders, Najee Harris, on a lame duck kind of deal in 2024, his last year on his contract. So is that how you want to go into OTAs, with two leaders on your ball club, maybe looking at a little bit of a different situation as to maybe where they're going to play in 2025, as opposed to how are they going to try to win a Lombardi trophy here in the next season or two in the city of Pittsburgh? So you look at all these things, you look at how OTAs is about to start, and you say to yourself, is this Steelers team where you want them to be as of the night before, the day before OTAs kicks off? Is this team where you want them to be right now in terms of progress moving forward toward the 2024 season? And I have to say, I think they are on schedule. Yes, they have issues, but I think many teams across the NFL, if not all of them, have some sort of issue, some sort of variable that they need to tend to ahead of the season. So we can just be okay with it. I just think that we need to relax with the schedule. We've done our complaining, we've done our bitching about it, and there's nothing we can do. The Steelers set up bad in the back half. We get it, and I have been a proponent, of talking shit on it and saying, hey, it's been crazy. It's been tough for the Steelers. Once the schedule come out, we looked at it and we said to ourselves, oh my God, man, it is going to be tough in the back half. But hey, we've come to accept it now. It's time to move on. There's nothing you can do about the schedule. You know the teams that we're going to play. You know when we're going to play them. And there's nothing you can do about it. Now the work needs to be done. Here, starting tomorrow in OTAs, this team needs to find itself and start to find its identity and start to look at how Arthur Smith is going to play this offense, how this new offense is going to be incorporated into this franchise, into this team for the next 3 years, because Arthur is under contract for a 3-year deal. So let's get it done. Let's figure out how the Steelers are going to utilize this Arthur Smith offense, and how is this going to affect the running back room, the wide receiver room? How is this offensive line going to gel? Are they going to be able to start putting players tomorrow in positions that they are going to want them for 2024? Are they going to be able to start getting that cohesive, that gelling, that coming together that an offensive line so desperately needs? Are they going to be able to do that tomorrow? Is that part of the plans? Are they going to shuffle people around for a while during this OTA period and try to see, exactly where they can get everybody to fit? I think they have their answers. I think you have Troy Fautanu that needs to be your right tackle right now starting tomorrow. I think you have your left tackle in one, Broderick Jones, an absolute monster, a guy that started at right tackle in 2023, a guy that can get it done, a Georgia Bulldog that is mean, dude. And you got to give it to Broderick Jones, a guy that I think is going to be an all-pro across that offensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers for many years to come. And then you look at the guy you drafted at center, the best center in the draft, in my opinion. I may be wrong, but I think Zach Frazier is going to be the real anchor man here. And I think you put him in there immediately, starting tomorrow. I think then that gives you that solid look, that offensive line that you could really hang your hat on and really have some high hopes for. With Broderick at left, you have Isaac Seumalo at left guard. You have the young rookie in Zach Frazier as the anchor man at center. Then you look over to his right at James Daniels. Then you look at right guard. Then you look at right tackle, a number 1 draft pick in Troy Fautanu that the Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely hit a home run with. And then you say to yourself, is this going to be okay with 3 young studs on that offensive line? I think yes. You look at that center position and you say to yourself, is he going to be okay as a rookie? I think the answer is yes. Why? Because you have 2 guys beside him that are veterans, that are solidified in their spots, guys that know how to play in the NFL. And I think that is only going to pay big monster dividends to a guy like Zach Frazier. And I think that is going to be awesome, man. And I think that's going to allow this offensive line to really start to gel and become one great big monster unit and one of the league's best for years to come. I think that to be true. I really, really do. And I think the Steelers have a golden ticket sitting right in front of them with an offensive line full of number 1 talent, man. A real star-studded offensive line, and they have a real potential to be really, really good here moving forward for several years. So how is that all going to play out, guys, in OTAs? That is one of the biggest stories, I think, if not the biggest story, even besides Cam Hayward, even beside Najee Harris. even beside getting a wide receiver, none of that matters unless you have that offensive line really solidified, because you have to score points in this league. It's a points happy league. Touchdowns are at a premium and you need to get them, man. You're going to go against ball clubs that put up a lot of points. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, finding the offensive line in order to take care of that is what you need to be able to do. And that should be priority number one. And I think they've addressed that. And you look at the Steelers and you say to yourself, are they going to be able to compete there in the trenches? Yes. And I think that they've set themselves up in a special way. And that is going to be their best defense in 2024, in my opinion, is getting that offensive line moving and rolling and gelling together, because they are going to be able to take that time of possession and utilize it as their best defense, as their best tool moving forward. So I really think that is something that we have to watch here in OTAs moving forward through this whole summer. I think that has to be the biggest storyline for the Pittsburgh Steelers and their journey. Their journey that starts tomorrow. Their journey that we are all going to watch and witness unfold right in front of us. And I think this is the special time. So make sure that we really pay attention to that and we really watch how that goes. And then you look across the coin, how are they going to take care of those trenches on the defensive side of the football? And I think Cameron Hayward will be healthy. I think he will come back. I think that he will do well in 2024. I think that this is one of his last shots with the Steelers, and he knows it. And I think he's going to ball out, hopefully, barring health. So we'll count on that. We hope. We cross our fingers. But I think you have a real stud in Keanu Benton. I really like him. I think Dean Lowry's going to be a good addition. I like the other kid they drafted too. I think they'll be okay along that defensive front. I think they'll be okay and serviceable, and I like the additions that they made elsewhere on the defense to bolster that a little bit and solidify that defense moving into the 2024 season. So I'm happy there. I think the defense will definitely be good, serviceable to really good. So I don't think they're going to be a flop. We'll say that. I think they'll definitely be able to compete on Sundays and really pay off for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So guys, let's wrap it up here on a Monday. That was talking about everything that's going on kind of with the Steelers here as of this morning ahead of tomorrow's OTAs when we kick off this 2024 season. And I just wanted to dive in a little bit about what the dynamic is surrounding this football team as we move forward toward tomorrow. But again, guys, look forward to our live show tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Steel City Live. Wednesday on Steel City Live, I'll be joined by Noah Strackbine from All Steelers Talk, so make sure you tune in for that. That's going to be cool. And then on the 29th, yes, the 29th of May on Wednesday at 8 p.m. after our live show here on Mike Drop Sports, Steel City Live. I'm going to go on right after that. I'm going to go on to Steelers Nation Australia with Mark and talk some more Steelers right after that. So make sure after you tune in here at Mike Drop Sports, you tune over to Steelers Nation Australia and watch us over there talk even more Steelers. So a monster action-packed week here on the channel, so make sure you stay tuned. And again, if this is your first time, subscribe. Make sure you're hitting that like button. So until tonight, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace.